A Fairy Tale by Amy Lowell is a wonderful poem penned by the contemporary women's writing. It is based on the fairy tale Sleeping Beauty. A fairy tale, as the title of Amy Lowell's working books, is something that nearly everyone can relate to. A typical fairy tale, at least as they are understood today, it is a curious mixture of tragedy and trouble, usually followed reasonably by happy ending. And this is an example of it. Children became teenagers out when they become adults and tastes change. The kind-hearted girl gets the prince practically. It's a clash at this point. Tammy Lowell's fairy tale uses this process of powerful engine for one of the Lowell's interesting experiments in free verse poetry. So now let's go through the original one. On winter nights beside the nursery fire, we read the fairy tale while glowing coals builded its pictures. Therefore, before our eyes, we saw the vaulted hall traciered stone upgrade itself, distant ceiling hung with pendant stalactites like frozen vines. The poem begins like this and it completes. So, when we go into the analysis of this poem, what we see, the aesthetic refinement of the taste in this poem. So the first lines set up the image of a child being read fairy tales during the winter nights. The mother or the father used to read fairy tales to the child, presumably by the parent of the parents. The contrast in the first line between the winter nights and the nursery fire is designed to create a kind of a cozy atmosphere, emphasizing the warmth of fire against the winter night. In this reading, the fire becomes part of the story, and the child imagines the characters' events of the story being enacted by the flames. Use of the word builded, it's interesting one to note. When the speaker is young, all these things are happening. The speaker of fairy tale is entranced by fairy tale. The imagination, the pillars, stone halls, stalactites, roses filling the walls of the nursery. Level of detail given describing these images, pendant stalactites, traced stone, frozen vines, uses the beautiful language that describes typical children's fairy tales. Speakers using their own imagination to embellish and bring to life the events of story that involves them so. When the speaker describes these images, they say, before your eyes, we saw, which speaks to their connection with the other person in the room, presumably reading the fairy tale or to the narrator. The imageries and languages that surround this observation speak to the idea of a small, close family and a happy childhood. Continuing the journey into the fairy tale, there is a notable transition from the walls to the nursery speaker's total immersion in the tale being told. This is an important aspect of Rover's free verse style. There is no break line and any indication of change in narrative, simple flow that brings the reader into the fairy tale, excess imagination of the tale. Fairy tale is heavily reliant on power of imagery, and this session, regal stone building described in the verse focus heavily on the through its colors, green, blue, red, black, white, all mentioned close to each other. Language used continues to be formal and educated one. When sprout escutcheons, flung, prismatic fires being particular example of this. Escutcheon is a shield-bearing coat of arms, prismatic fires. Characters from fairy tale are introduced in this session of the verse. There is a more present, but it is a crowd of servants. They are impressive, building, watching the christening of the child. The christening in its own line, notably shorter than the surrounding lines, brings attention to itself. This is because this line aids the reader in determining which fairy tale is being read. Sleeping Beauty, in all likelihood, is a fairy tale told about the wicked being insulted over not being invited to the newborn princess's christening, causes her to die at the age of 15. The first verse includes the mounting excitement from fairy tale story, the sudden blare trumpets, sudden in the context of the verse, no guest parting make way guests distinguished from the lucky retainers. And in the story, the important guests arrived for the christening, bringing gifts of glory, of unattainable delight, triumph of the story. is the triumph of the narrator bringing excitement to the poem. The fanfare and excitement embodied into the language of the poem, precious ego, fancy, glory, delights, and the list will continue. Fairy tale continues along its distinctly northeast path from first line to the falling ascender indicates a poor change of events. Falling is the operative word. From here, the first verse told is a memory because in the present day speaker is not child but still compare the life of a fairy tale. The primary differences in their life age to include the first mentioned in the end of the last verse. Sleeping Beauty has come to embody the life of the speaker. They see the gifts from the important guest lined up. Instead of gifts, they see the accomplishments in life and positive attributes, notably healthy, wealthy, a number of long-standing friendships, and reputable name, literary skills, and a particular power of writing. Despite all lines describing positive aspects of the speaker's life, we do not neglect mention the first and foremost because in the example of the narrator's life, the curse is not death, but rather they are unable to find or to be fulfilled by love. Although the first verse describes moving family from childhood, speaker seems to view themselves as unlovable. This likely refers to loving relationship outside the family, which is not mentioned in the list but gives interestingly enough. But another person for the purpose of fulfillment. The conclusion of the second verse, Parijit says, the speaker examined the remaining metaphoric elidism on the ground before them. Their device is nothing more than a pile of colored glass, no longer interesting the beautiful in any way. No matter how optimistic or hopeful we try to be about the gifts they are being given, more broken kaleidoscope remains the focus of their worldview. The literary talents, having money, friendship, all pain in comparison to the warmth of the soul. Something the speaker feels they will be unable to find no matter how long they search for one. Dragon fleet is the metaphor that closes the poem, an unwilling, forcible moment that brings them closer, closer to the lonely world. Thank you.